Hi, I'm Glenn Southern. I'm a 3D artist working in the UK. I just wanted to show you Custom Ivor, which is a 3D model that's hopefully going to be useful to some vinyl toy customizers. So, what is Ivor? This is a little sheet I've put together just to show you what the basic premise is. This has been done before, I think, but I can't find it in a state where I would want it, so I wanted to put it together myself. So people that customize toys sometimes, rather than committing to vinyl and paint, would want to do it in 3D. And 3D or digital modeling, which is what we're doing here. And it can be quite daunting, but if you can use a couple of programs, and I'll list those on the forums and mention them in this little chat, then you can pretty much do what I'm going to show you now. So first of all, I provide a template in Photoshop, which I'll go through. It's this thing over here, and basically you paint on that and do all your graphics that you would normally do straight onto your toy. You then, because it's got several layers in it, in Photoshop you can switch those layers on and off, and that will help you then understand where the graphics lie on the model. You then put it over here into a 3D program, and I use something called Silo by Nevercenter, which is a very cheap modeling solution. The model's provided for you, which I'll show you in a minute, and then you just apply the texture onto that model, and then you can see all around the model, have a look around, look at the seams, look at where you want to change it before really going any further. And the further is either you then commit that to a toy, or you go further and render it in a more advanced 3D package and give it some materials like glossiness and stuff like that. So I'll switch over to this is the UV map, as we call it, and it's basically a texture map that you would apply to your model. I'll just bring in the layers. I'm using Photoshop here, and you can use any program that has layers and supports Photoshop PSD, so things like PaintShop Pro. I think the GIMP in Linux supports it, if I remember rightly. And basically, these are layers here, and you can switch things on and off. So you can then basically paint on a new layer. You can make a new layer quite quickly, right here, and then you can paint on that as you need. But if I just show you these graphics, switch my graphics off and switch them back on, the graphics are laid out in such a way, these arrows meet together on the model, and I'll show you that, and that then gives you an idea of where the seams are. The graphics are just placed really to show you what goes where. There's different things like an X and an O on the feet, so on the model you can see where that lies. Obviously everything on here is the right, everything on here is the left. The ears have got graphics just to show you where to paint there. And then you can switch that off and paint to your heart's content. A couple of other things, there's a grid there, you can switch on and off. Turn that off, and there's some block colouring which just helps you with defining the shapes and where the parts of the model are, and then a couple of other little things like just a grayed out grid, and then you put them all together and you get back to that graphic that we showed. We'll turn that off. You'd then save that out, and that becomes your texture, and you would then switch to something called Silo, which is the solution I'm using. I'll put together a list of other free, or this is an extremely cheap way of doing it. There are free solutions that can show you 3D models like this. So you load this blocky little model that I've created, and it's just a representation of a vinyl toy, the sort of thing you'd have 3D printed. And then you apply in the software, with a couple of clicks you can smooth it down and give it just like a skin texture like so. That isn't really even a texture applied, that's just a procedural thing that the program does. And over here I've just given it a pink colour. You can make that blue or any colour that you particularly want. You can give it some basic settings, so I can make it a little bit glossy like so. Give it an ambient underneath colour to give it a little bit more of a toy effect, and there you go, it's more of a glossy sort of toy. And again you can change that. These are very fundamental settings in the program. They're not like the more powerful programs that you'll see where you animate and render. This program doesn't do that. So then you give it another thing, which is the texture that you've created. Now, because the what's called a UV map is already applied to this, that basically means that this model knows how to apply this texture. When you've done that, you end up with this chap here. That is your custom model. I'll just give that a bit of specularity so that he looks shiny like a toy, or more shiny, should I say. And then turn the wire off, and there you go. So that's that custom map that we saw applied onto the model, and as you can see all around, you can see how the graphics lie, you can see where the seams are, you can see where the seams are on the head, top of the head. Gives you a great idea of how your toy would look before you've ever committed to paint or even onto the vinyl. So I'm looking for some feedback on it. My website's www.southerngfx.co.uk, and there's a blog there where you can post, or I'm always on Twitter, and that's SouthernGFX on Twitter. So look me up, follow me, and we can have a chat about it. So any feedback or anything that you see as an improvement is more than welcome. Thank you.